Yeah. Okay, welcome to the third and final professional development opportunity of the fall semester. I am Sharon Vogler. I serve as Director of Alumni and MBA Career Development, and I'm joined today by one of my favorite humans on the planet, Jazmune Thatch. Jazmune is a double deac, meaning she has 2 degrees from Wake Forest. The first one she got back in 2014 in health and exercise science. She missed it so much that she decided to come back and get one of our pre-experienced master's degrees. And that's where I had the privilege of meeting Jazmune and working with her when she was in the Master of Science and Management program. She's been super busy since she's graduated with her second degree. Currently, she is a senior project manager for a company I'll let her tell you more about called WPromote. She's also the owner of First Hustle and Then Brunch. Jazmune is going to talk to us today about how she was able to turn some of her passions into profit in hopes that it'll inspire you to do the same. And so, Jazmune, I'm going to monitor the chat and the waiting room, but I'm going to turn it over to you, and we're excited to get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction. Can everyone see me, hear me? I
Yep.
just shared my screen, so hopefully we're good to go. All right, perfect. Well, thank you. Yes, like Sharon said, my name is Jazmune. I attended Wake Forest undergrad, got a health and exercise science degree, and then I went back and got a master's in management. So, to many people, that would seem very different from health career to business, but ultimately, I just followed where my heart was leading me, and I enjoyed my time at the business school. So, I'm really excited to be back speaking to you all. And so grateful to have Sharon in my life. If she's involved in your life as well, you already know she is awesome. So thanks again for having me. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I'm sure everybody's in Q4, end of, the semester, finals coming up. So I appreciate you taking time out to hang out with me for a little bit. So, yes, after I graduated from the business school, I started working as a project manager at a market research agency called The Link Group based in Durham. And so I started out in market research. And then, as probably many of you have experienced or will experience potentially, I left school with a lot of student loan debt. And so my goal was to pay it off as quickly as possible. And I was seeking ways to make extra money on top of my full-time job. I had a great full-time job. Still do. I love to work. Even in school, I had multiple jobs. That's just my personality. And so I decided to start a blog where I would share how much I was making from all these different side hustles, the different type of side hustles I was doing, and basically created reviews. And it kind of evolved and turned into a full-fledged business. I didn't even realize that that was possible with a blog, but now I'm proof that it actually is. So, as I learned more about digital marketing, started writing on my blog, doing social media and things like that, I became more interested in digital marketing. And so I decided to pivot into digital marketing. So now I'm a project manager at a digital marketing agency based out of California. I work fully remotely, and I have been for the past several years, and it has been really, really nice. So this is all just a testament to the fact that you can take your side hustle and eventually turn it into your full-time, work career if you'd like. You can also have a full-time business on the side that is making you an income that, just helps you supplement your income that you're getting from your career. And yeah, so we'll dive in. Have a podcast, blog, coaching, multiple digital products. So there's a lot of different ways that you can potentially work with me or just learn more from me and about all the different side hustles that I have done in the past. I'm curious too to see how many people have a side hustle currently or have done side hustles. If you could drop in the chat, let me see if I can see them. What side hustles you all have done, because I have done a lot. And as y'all are adding them, I'll give you a couple of ideas. So I did mystery shopping. I tested websites. I pet sat, walked dogs. Let's see, obviously the blog, affiliate marketing, social media marketing, influencer marketing, all of that you can make money with. I can't see the chat. Is anyone adding anything, Sharon?
Yeah, Thomas is doing SEO freelancing.
Awesome.
I have some side hustle income doing career coaching myself. Anyone else? Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, and if you're not doing anything yet, totally fine. That's hopefully what you'll learn today is about an opportunity that you all can use to make some extra income.
McKinsey is program coordinating for nonprofits.
Oh, that's really cool
That is cool.
and definitely needed.
Mhm.
Perfect. So let's keep moving. So 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I thought that was very interesting. So just another reason why we should all have an extra source of income, especially in this economy. And over 45% of working Americans report having a side hustle to supplement their income. So having a side hustle has numerous benefits. Even if you have a successful career, obviously it helps you diversify your income streams so that you're not reliant on that one single source of income, which provides you with financial security. And again, it can also help you develop new skills, new passions, even like for me with digital marketing, that you could potentially pursue and allows you to enjoy flexibility within your schedule. And I thought this was interesting. Thomas, you said you're a freelancer. So freelancers are actually predicted to make up 50.9% of the US workforce by 2027, which is kind of crazy. Sharon, I don't know if you knew that as, a career coach. It's just everything is changing. There's so much evolving right now. So it's super important to develop additional skills, build a personal brand, and stay adaptable so that you can be resilient in what is an ever evolving job market.
Great advice.
Yeah. And I talk a lot about diversifying your income streams. Like I said, on my blog, podcast, there's so many different side hustle ideas out there. And I know that there are tons of options for you to try when it comes to making money outside of your career. But I truly believe that the best way to do it is creating and selling digital products. And this is especially true if you're a student, a stay-at-home parent, a working professional, because it allows you to free up some more of your time. And I'll go over this in a lot more detail, but basically it can seamlessly integrate with your career, offer you passive income potential, and allow you for long-term scalability and growth. So, why is creating a digital product such a smart move? So, there's only so many hours in the day. We all have 24 hours, which means you're paid, there's a cap on how much you can be paid if you're paid based on, your salary or an hourly rate. And this is usually what you'll hear referred to as trading your time for dollars. You may have heard that phrase before. And most people struggle to break through their current income ceiling because they can't wrap their head around the fact that you could get paid while you're not working. And that is a hard concept for some people to, grasp. But selling digital products allows you the opportunity to help people and sell your products 24/7 or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you don't even really have to touch your business. And I'll explain more about that, how to get it to run on autopilot. But you don't have to worry about fulfilling orders or putting in time in order to make your income. And then on top of that, creating and selling a digital product on a specific topic can help position you as an expert in your field. And because it's sold on the internet, obviously, you can reach a large amount of people, not just the people in your hometown or at your school or in your community. And then lastly, digital products are easily scalable. So you create one digital product one time and you can sell it an unlimited number of times. And then if you'd like, you can create additional products that build off of one another so that you can build a loyal customer base. But it's just a super easy way to supplement your income. Again, like I said, take the time to create one product and then just sell it an unlimited number of times. And you can think about how this fits into the bigger picture of your business. So, you know, for me, I'm a personal finance blogger originally. So my first digital product was actually a budget planner. And let's say that people purchased my budget planner, but they were still having trouble managing their money and they wanted to be able to speak to someone about that. I actually started offering services where I would coach them on how to manage their money. So it allowed me to kind of expand my service and provided multiple offers based on that digital product. And so that's just one way that you could potentially, increase your income as well. And then I've worked with clients who have also created website templates that they sold. And that's something that is super technical. Website templates, if you know how to design those, that's something everyone needs, especially business owners who don't have experience designing their own websites. And in addition to selling templates, that could be the digital product, you could also offer a service where you install the website theme or help them make adjustments on their website. So there's a lot of potential there. And then just to give you another idea of what I mean when I say that a digital product itself can be scalable, I do want to share a couple of examples of some students that I've worked with. So this is Janae. She is a chef. She graduated from a culinary school, and she spent the first few years after school working as a chef. She said that she would spend 60 to 70 hours a week working on her feet, which I can't even imagine. It could not be me. And it clearly burnt her out. And she decided to leave working as a chef and decided to get more of a corporate role. So now she works as a POS technician. So basically works for like a Square, Toast, if you've heard of those types of companies. And she works in restaurants, so helping them install those systems on their platform. So very different. She's not cooking at all, but she was still passionate about food and wanted to find a way to make extra income outside of the catering gigs that she was getting on the weekends. So she reached out to me and I helped her create a digital product. She ended up creating an ebook or a guide on cooking techniques, and it was really popular. She ended up making over $800 in her first launch. So it was over the course of a weekend. And now she's gone on to make about $1,000 a month from this digital product. And then I have another student named Tanner. So Tanner, when I first met her several years ago, she owned a clothing boutique, an online boutique. And she bought my course and just sat on it for about a year and a half before she launched her first product. It was an online course to teach people how to open their own boutique. Sounds great in theory, but she launched it in the midst of a pandemic, which meant that, the economy was not great. It was probably not the best time to do this. And that product ended up flopping. But she stuck with it and she ended up kind of taking a look at, she actually closed that business because, again, the pandemic hurt a lot of small business owners. But she took a look and said, what actually did I do to have a successful boutique? She earned over seven figures with that boutique. So what was it that helped her grow that business? And she realized she was really good at social media marketing. So she pivoted and started creating courses on Instagram, how to create reels for your business, how to sell on stories. And she ultimately has created multiple products. Now I always laugh and they say she's addicted to creating digital products because she has probably 10, if not more by now. And she's earning over $50,000 a month. So she's created these 10 products one time and she just sells them an unlimited number of times every single month to her audience. So another major bonus with digital products, which I tell everyone, Sharon knows, I tell everyone they need to have a digital product because it is such a low barrier to entry. It is basically free to create a digital product. There's tools, and I'll get into it later, but Canva, if you're familiar with that, is a free software where you can create pretty much anything on Canva. And you can create your digital product for free, list it for free on certain platforms, and then you just start making a profit. So pretty much everything you make is profit. Sharon, any comments or questions in the chat so far?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. So let's talk about the types of digital products. So there's ebooks, which I feel like most people are familiar with. And then there's also printables. So this could be anywhere from workbooks, worksheets, checklists. If you're on Etsy, you might download a party game or invitations from there, journal pages. There's also templates, so social media graphics. I talked about website themes and templates before. Um, Everyone in here probably has used a resume template at some point. That's a digital product. So that's another great idea. And then online courses and workshops are probably my favorite just because they're easy to create, easy to, provide value in a very um, consolidated way. All right, so I am going to go very quickly over a training. We're going to talk about how you can create your own digital product. You'll be able to walk away from this today, able to launch. And I thought about, doing more of an overview, high level overview, but then I realized, Black Friday is right around the corner. It's a week away. You could honestly create a digital product this weekend and list it for sale right in time for Cyber Week, Cyber Weekend. Every year it gets longer and longer, but it's absolutely possible for you. So, a couple of things we're going to chat through today is how to validate your idea, how to actually create your digital product. I'll share some best practices, and then how to make your first sale. So, starting with validating your idea, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, what type of digital product would I even create? So, the first step is to choose your niche. And basically, this comes down to making a list of all the things that you're good at, knowledgeable about, and that you enjoy talking about. It's probably going to be pretty easy because most of the time, there's something that you're really passionate about, or there's something that people come to you for advice about. So, here's a couple of questions that can help jog your memory. So, what are family and friends coming to you for advice about? What are your current followers? If you have a social media following, what are they asking you for advice about? Are you an expert or do you have expertise in a certain field? What do you love talking about in general? So, you can just start there. And then a couple of niches that are very profitable that I recommend people consider going into would be money, so finances, relationships, and lifestyle. So I included a couple of ideas here, but these are always profitable niches to go into. And then step two, you're going to conduct market research to identify a list of problems that people in that niche may be facing. And this is what sets digital products that are very successful apart from those that are not. It needs to solve a very specific problem. And a couple of ways that you can find this problem is to use Google, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok. There's so many platforms now that people are going to share their thoughts, even Reddit, Quora. Those are some other options. But basically, you want to look at search, look at videos that people are making on YouTube, for example, look at the comments, see what questions people are asking, what they want to learn more about, and, pay attention to the language that they're using to describe their problem as well, and then what their ideal solution is to that problem. So you may see someone, I recently was looking at videos and I saw one that was teaching people how to like help with behavioral issues for their kids. And there were a lot of questions in there about, okay, what about this technique? Should I do that versus something else? Another one is like dog training, just for very simple examples. That is a problem that a lot of people are facing. And so there are tons of videos on YouTube. There's lots on Google that you can find. So you really want to just dig into the options that are available currently, what are people saying about it, and figure out a way that you can create a product that solves that problem in a unique way. So you're going to choose one problem to solve, narrow down your list because you'll probably put together a list of several different problems, and you'll figure out one specific one that you want to solve for one specific person. And this also helps it make it much easier for you to create the product because a lot of people fall into the trap of wanting to create one product that solves every single problem out there in the world for this person. And you don't want to do that. Just focus on solving one very specific problem. Keep it simple. Again, you can always create additional products if you want to create another solution for a different problem. And then again, do some additional market research once you figure out that problem that you're going to solve to figure out what solutions already exist. So now is not the time to reinvent the wheel. It's actually a very good indication that something is profitable if you see that a lot of people are doing it. So if you are looking at what's available currently and you see that a ton of people are selling website templates on a certain topic or on a certain theme, maybe for a certain like real estate. Let's say there's a bunch of website templates for realtors. That might be a good field for you to potentially get into. If you are looking and you want to create an ebook, but you're not finding a single ebook on this topic, you might want to hold off because there's a saying that success leaves clues. So there's a reason that there aren't many options of people selling that successfully. So you might want to hold off on that. Maybe there's a course on that same topic. And so maybe a course is a better format or something else. You just want to make sure that you do extensive market research. This is probably like the most important thing. And I would stress that to everyone. Spend most of your time on the actual research phase before you go into creating it. Okay. So now we'll get into creating a product that stands out from the competition. And like I said, there's a ton of different digital product ideas. So I'm not going to be able to do like a tutorial of how to create every single one because there's so many, even music, which I didn't mention, that counts as a digital product. Photos, if you're a photographer, stock videos are now super popular, especially with the rise of Instagram Reels and people wanting to faceless YouTube channels. Those are digital products that you could potentially sell. So there's a lot that you can go into with this, but a couple of things to keep in mind when considering what type of digital product you want to create. You want to make sure that it's something that you are excited about creating, but also sharing, because if you create something that you're not passionate about, first of all, you're not even going to be motivated to create it in the first place. But then you're also not going to be motivated to share it with your audience, which means you're not going to get the income that you were hoping for in the first place. And this is something that you will probably be talking about a lot because, like I said, you're only creating it one time and then it's up to you to just promote it, market it, and sell it multiple times for years and years to come. And then something else to keep in mind is that your first product will not be perfect. Everyone tries to get there, but it won't be perfect. You will iterate on it, which is another great thing about digital products. You can launch it and then update it later on. I think I launched my first course 3 years ago, and I've done several updates since then, minor updates, and now I'm going through and doing like a major update. So you're constantly updating things as needed. Okay, so let's just go over a couple of best practices when it comes to creating your digital product. First, outsource when appropriate. So, depending on the type of product you might want to do this, for example, an ebook or a guide, let's say you're not that great at designing and you have all the text written out already, you can share it with someone on Fiverr or Upwork. Those are some freelance platforms. And you can help some, or you can get somebody to help you format it and design it and make it look pretty. I don't recommend outsourcing like the creation of your product. There's also this trend now of people selling a course, like buying a course and then selling that same course. Don't do that. Create something that you know this is your expertise. So yeah, make sure it's something that you actually put your knowledge and value into. And then if you decide to go the DIY route, like I said, there's a platform called Canva. It's free, and then they have an option where you can upgrade to a pro subscription. But there are tons of templates that you can use so you don't have to start from scratch. Just make sure that the template that you're using includes a commercial license so that you can create products that you can sell versus just creating something to use for personal use. And then choose your colors, fonts, and images wisely. Think about your ideal customer. Who are you trying to attract? That is going to look a lot different if your main audience is women versus men potentially, or if there's a certain age group that you're targeting. For example, if you're creating content for kids, maybe it's a homeschool guide or resource. It's probably going to be super colorful. So definitely think about the aesthetic and overall appearance. If you want to appear more laid back versus more professional, if it's supposed to have more of a corporate feel, think about all of that because that is going to impact who you're actually attracting with that product. And then, if possible, include tutorials. So, for example, if you're selling something like a workout guide. Rather than sending them a PDF of pictures of workouts, maybe also include links to a YouTube video where you're demonstrating how to perform a certain exercise. Same thing with the website templates that I mentioned earlier. Do a video recording walking them through how to install that website template on your website. And that just helps people have the best experience because if they aren't able to use your product, they're not going to get the results that they want, which means they are going to be very unhappy customers. And you don't want that. And then you'll want to create copy links for anything that's on Google. So let's say you created a budget template or a debt payoff template. You're a financial analyst or something. You've created some sort of template in Google Sheets, for example. In case you don't know, you can create copy links. And you basically, when you go to share that link, just cut off the end of it and make sure you add the word copy onto it. And it'll just force your customer to make a copy of that document rather than edit your main version. Because I know a lot of people encounter that issue with people messing up their master versions. And then make sure you outline your ebook and courses beforehand just to make sure that you're providing value, everything flows well before you completely build it out, and that you're making sure that everything that you include in that product is going to help solve that one specific problem. Another tip, depending on what you're creating, you might want to make your PDFs fillable. So I actually did this when I did my budget binder. It was something that I intended for them to just print out and use, but then I realized some people may not want to print hundreds of sheets of paper. And so I uploaded them into this platform called PDF Escape, and you can add fillable bubbles or squares or whatever you need to make your document fillable on a computer or tablet. And then you want to always conduct a beta test. So this is basically just collecting feedback from someone in your ideal audience. So not just getting your family or your friends or whoever to review your product. You can definitely do that, but you want to make sure that you also use someone from your ideal audience because they're the ones that are going to actually give you the most impactful feedback that can actually help you make modifications to your product so that you know it is going to help that person solve that problem that we talked about earlier. And then you can use their testimonials in your promotion materials and, of course, use that feedback to update your product.
Jazz, we do have a question about
Yeah.
the Google copy thing. Can you
hmm
pause for a second and go through how that works again?
Yeah. I should have included pictures in here because a lot of people don't know this. It's a little trick. If you have Google Sheets or document open right now, because I don't, or else I'd share my screen and just show you. If you go up to share that document, and in the link to share it, it'll say like edit or copy. It'll say something
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
You'll just erase all of that and switch it and type copy. And then now when you copy that link and share it with someone and they click on that link, it'll automatically pop up like, do you want to make a copy of this document instead?
Okay.
And I can probably, if you remind me, I have done this before, so I can probably share an example of mine.
Okay. All right.
Type in it.
We'll bookmark that.
Yeah, cool. All right. And then when it comes to using or coming up with a product name, a lot of people try to be really clever and come up with a cute name, but it's best to be clear over clever and just make sure that you describe the product and what it actually is, what it does. And that's just going to help you be more discoverable on search. This is great for SEO. Or now on honestly all the platforms, not just on Google, but TikTok, YouTube, all of them have SEO capabilities. But it also makes it easy for your customer to understand exactly what it is for. So this is just a little bit of formula to help you come up with your product name. Just keep it super simple. That being said, make sure you're not infringing on anyone's copyright. So always do a trademark search on not only your product name, but if you come up with a name for your business, it's always a good idea just to run and take a look at trademark search just to make sure that you're not choosing a name that somebody else is already using. All right, so that's it on creating your product. Let's talk about how you're going to make your first sale. So first, when it comes to pricing, this can be a little tricky for people to wrap their brains around because you're charging for something that is intangible. They're not going to get that, product in their hands. So people are like, "Oh, well, maybe I don't charge as much for it." But that's not true. What we do when it comes to digital product is price things based on the value that they're providing. And so you really want to reframe your thoughts when it comes to pricing to think more about what is the transformation that you're promising with this product. And again, it doesn't matter how many pages are in your ebook. It doesn't mean, okay, it's 100 pages, I'm going to charge more for. No, what is the actual value that's in that ebook? What is the transformation? And a couple of examples I like to give people is, for example, let's say you are a divorce coach or you work in marriage counseling or something like that, and you create a course or a guide that is going to help someone save their marriage. The cost of a divorce is super expensive. So if your guide helps them, prevent a divorce, that is going to be very valuable for them. So they are willing to pay a higher price for that product. And I can't give you a price right now of what you should charge, especially not without seeing a product. But that's just something that you should definitely consider. Something else is it B2B? Is it B2C? Who is your ideal target customer? because that is also going to impact it as well. Is this a product that is going to help people make money? Because if so, you want to charge a little bit more for that because they're going to get their investment back pretty quickly. So ultimately, choose a price that feels good for you and make sure you feel well compensated for your effort that you're putting in. And then just some sales psychology. You may have heard this before, but apparently, ending your price in the number seven, it helps give people the perception that it's a little bit more affordable. So instead of selling something for $30, sell it for $27. Instead of $100, you'll see products sold for $97. It's just a few dollars difference, but apparently it makes a huge difference. So that's something to consider as well. And then where are you going to sell it? So things have changed a lot since the first time I launched my digital product. And Stand Store, honestly, is a really great platform. I would recommend it for everyone because you can literally sell digital downloads, courses, memberships, all different types. And I think it comes with a free trial for like 14 days, but then after that, I think it's only $25 or $29 a month. So that is kind of crazy. That is super affordable. Here's some other places that you can sell digital downloads. Beacons is also a platform that has a free option, as well as Gumroad. Both of those have a free option where they end up just taking a percentage of your sales. So again, you can create your digital product for free on Canva, list it on a platform, sell it for free. But when you get paid, then they take a percentage of that. So that's an option too. Stand Store, they charge a monthly fee because they don't take a percentage from your sales. And then for online courses, I recommend Stand Store again, but there's also Teachable, Podia, Kajabi that are more specific for courses. Now you will need to create a sales page. You can keep it super simple and basically you want to just educate your potential customers on what the product is and the transformation that they can expect to get while using your product. And again, this isn't about sharing all the features of the product, more so providing the value for that specific person. So make sure you're speaking to the pain points that you identified when you were doing your market research and make sure you clearly communicate how your product can address those pain points. Include testimonials. Again, make sure you get some testimonials from a few people in your ideal audience so that you can share them and share what they most likely found helpful or enjoyable about using that product. And of course, you'll share your pricing options. And for higher ticket items, you can obviously include different payment plans if you'd like. We went over this before, but again, branding is important because you want to attract your ideal customer. And so make sure you're creating a cohesive look that fits the brand that we discussed earlier. And then you also want to make sure to include mock-ups. So this is just going to give them a clear example of what they're getting with their purchase. Because again, with digital products, this is something that is intangible. They're not really understanding what it is. You know, if you say it's a template, like what does that mean? So make sure you show them exactly what it is. And here's a couple of examples of my own mock-ups. So there's a course, a couple of course templates, and then ebook templates. I have some social media templates that I've sold before. So this just gives you a little bit of an idea. And of course, with your promotional graphics, always make sure they're eye-catching. Obviously, Canva has great templates for that and include a strong call to action. So then when it comes to getting traffic to your offers, social media is one of the best ways to get organic traffic to your product. So this means free traffic. And you want to create content that speaks directly to the problem that your ideal customer is having, speak to that transformation. And remember that they say it probably is more than this, but it takes an average of 7 times to hear about your product or see your product before they actually buy it. So you have to be consistent when discussing this transformation. So again, make sure it's something that you are passionate about enough to continue talking about it all the time. And then always include a CTA as well.
What's a CTA?
Call to action. Great
Call to
question.
action.
So call to action just basically means, let's say you post an Instagram reel, you'll say, check out the link in my bio to download this product. Or now we have ManyChat. You've probably seen where people will say, comment this word. And if you comment that word, it'll automatically send them a link to your product. Perfect. So then follower count, just an FYI, does not matter. A lot of people get worried about, oh, well, I don't know like that many people, or, do you have to have a huge audience to be successful in this? No, but you really do need to have a targeted audience that is interested in what you have to offer. And that's why you want to create content that is specific to that digital product. And, because if more people are seeing that specific content and they're engaging with that content, they're most likely interested in that topic. And there's a lot more that I get into in my program with that, but that's just a high level overview.
So you don't have to have a huge following,
hmm
but you need to have a following.
You need to have a targeted audience to sell to. So it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean that you need a ton of social media followers. Also, keep in mind that like choose a platform that works best for you. Some people only share their digital products on podcasts. Like they go to very specific podcasts that talk in this specific niche. So let's say you're a health and wellness coach of some sort. I'm not in that niche, so I don't really know. But you go on podcasts that are specifically in the health and wellness niche, and you just talk to their audience, provide value, and you say, if you're interested in learning more, check out my digital product. Here's the link, blah, blah, blah. And they buy it that way. So that could be your audience, and you're only promoting on podcasts. You could have a YouTube channel. You could be using LinkedIn, especially if you're doing career coaching or resumes or anything involved in, the career field. So you don't necessarily just have to use Instagram. You don't have to use TikTok. There's so many different ways that you can market your product. And Pinterest is also a really great option because everybody's on Pinterest and they're also searching on Pinterest for solutions. So it's different than Instagram. People go to Instagram just to scroll and get information or like see fun stuff. Pinterest, usually they're going for like specific recipes or to download a budget planner or look up cute outfits, So it's a great platform for that too.
So do you suggest just picking one of those, or is it more helpful to pick multiple?
I recommend choosing one to focus on primarily because you want to get good at one platform. If you spread yourself too thin, it's not really going to help. So if you get really good at one of those and then you decide to repurpose on others, you could also do that too. So pretty much now everywhere, YouTube has shorts, which are the same as Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, Pinterest, you can put them on there as well. So honestly, if you do more of the short form video content, you can repurpose it on like 4 different platforms right there. Perfect. Okay, so skip down to what to do after the sale. Basically, your platform that you're using to sell this digital product is going to make this a lot easier. So it's going to make sure that your product is delivered to them. But if you have multiple files, maybe for website templates, or for me with my budget planner, I had multiple color options. You'll want to zip that folder. And so that includes all the products at once. And then obviously thank your customer and make sure you schedule an email to follow up with them in a couple of weeks just to see how they're doing with your product and also get some feedback. As
Got another,
always,
can we
oh,
stop
go ahead.
for just a second? We've got a question about
Yeah.
video content. How does video content compare to non-video content? Is one better than the other for building an audience? Good question.
Yeah, good question. Video is kind of dominating right now. I think YouTube is where most people should focus, depending on your niche. I don't know what niche you're in. You can feel free to comment that, but it is a great platform because your content can be discoverable for years to come. I recently just redid a lesson in my course and I was looking for a topic and came across a video that was posted 20 years ago, literally. So people can find your video on YouTube many years after it's posted compared to Instagram. You might see it for the first few days and then you're never going to see it again. So there's a couple of different options there. But I will say carousels on Instagram are doing really well right now too. And so you just want to make sure that you're providing a lot of value in whatever content, but focus on it's going to vary by platform. But right now, Instagram has been saying that they're pushing out reels as far as reach and reaching new audiences. But now they're also saying that they're pushing carousels if you add a trending sound onto your carousel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's those photos where you see a photo and then you keep swiping and it shows you other options. So that's a carousel, and
Is
those are
that,
getting
do they
popular.
do that on TikTok too, where it's a still and
Yeah,
then
they do that on
swipe?
TikTok now too, which is why I think Instagram is doing it. Everyone's
Gotcha.
copying each other.
What, in your opinion, what's better, Instagram or TikTok?
Again, it depends on your audience. Instagram is great because you can do many chat automations, which is where you say comment that word and it'll automatically send it to you. And I'm all about automations because if someone comments that they're interested in something on TikTok, I have to go and comment, like I have to go back and respond to them with the information because there's no automation on TikTok yet. So, yeah, just depends, but I think Instagram is a little bit easier. The other thing is TikTok is the platform overall is so easy to blow up on there that it's not as valuable. Even if you're doing brand partnerships, let's say you have 50,000 followers on TikTok, is not going to matter as much as somebody that has even 10,000 followers on Instagram. But that's a whole other topic. Yeah. Cool. So that's pretty much it. I know there was a lot in that little lesson there. So if you're interested in learning more about how to create and sell your own digital product, the course that I mentioned earlier, it's called Digital Side Hustle Academy. It is my signature program where I teach people how to create the digital product, do the market research, figure out their niche, how to launch and sell it, but also how to build an email list, how to create a sales funnel and an evergreen strategy so that you can sell it on autopilot because I'm all about making things easy. So I want to create my digital product, set it up for success, and all you have to do is worry about getting traffic into that offer. So I included a link here that goes to a special offer. That special offer is going to be available for the next week if you go to that link, and I can also drop it in the chat in a little bit. Um, and yeah, I know that was
I'll
quick. That was a lot.
make sure I have it. If you just send me this deck, I'll make sure the people who participated get it.
Perfect.
There are a couple questions. We've generated
Okay.
lots of good questions, so let's roll
Awesome.
through
Let me
them.
stop sharing so I can see everyone's face.
Hello. All right, Madison has a question about do you need or do you need a commercial license, number one, and if so, how do you get it or create it?
Okay, so the commercial license is for the Canva templates, and they will say you can use this for commercial use. So if you look up Canva template, like ebook Canva template, and you're Googling, they'll say whether or not you can use it for commercial use. So you don't have to like buy something extra. If they don't say it on there, then that means that it's only for personal use. But most of the time, if you search ebook Canva template, all of those are going to be commercial use.
And do you need an LLC? What are your thoughts on that?
No, so you don't need an LLC when you first get started. Obviously, I'm not an attorney, so take this
With
with a
an
grain of salt.
accountant, she doesn't have
But
an accounting degree from
yeah,
Wake.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not. Yes, but I have an attorney. She actually did a two bonus lessons in my course because people were asking me all the legal questions, and I'm like, go talk to an actual attorney. But an LLC just separates your liability, from my understanding, from your business. And so when you file taxes and stuff, an LLC is basically the same as being a sole proprietor. So the way it's filed is basically it's the same as, if you had just launched without forming an LLC. So you don't need to in the very beginning. You can launch without it. So don't let that hold you up. But I would learn more about it. You can obviously watch those lessons once you're in my program, or if you go to First Hustle Then Brunch podcast, she did an episode. I'd have to find which one it is. She did an episode all about this.
Awesome. Super
Yeah.
helpful. All right, here's the next question. Do you have any recommendations around methods for determining product market fit post-launch?
Yeah. So, first of all, you want to figure this out before you launch. So, there's a lot of market research involved. And like I said, I go into this a lot more detail, but you really want to speak to your potential audience. This person, I'm not looking at the chat right now.
Thomas.
Do they already have
Thomas.
an audience? It's Thomas, you
Yes.
said?
Thomas.
Yeah. And if you want to come off mute, feel free to
Mhm.
chat with me directly. But,
Hey, Jess.
hey. So, yeah, do you have an audience that you're already thinking about selling to?
No, I do not.
Okay, so you want to start like researching on Google. You said you were in SEO, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So Google obviously is helpful, but I've seen a lot of SEOs on LinkedIn. They're like blowing up specialists. I'm in digital marketing obviously as my career, but
Mhm.
not in the weeds with SEO, but that also seems like another option for finding your specific people and just leaning into, are you trying to help other people in that field or who would you be helping?
It's actually completely different. So my wife and I are thinking of starting a bed and breakfast, essentially. So
Oh,
once we're in
okay.
Sacramento right now. Sorry, everybody else in this meeting. We're in Sacramento right now on the West Coast, and
Nice.
we're going to be moving back to the Charlotte area probably in
Oh,
about a
cool.
year.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. Nice.
And one thing we want to do is actually start a bed and breakfast. So we want to buy a farm, and then uh, raise some tiny houses on there for people to stay.
Oh,
So
nice.
in order to find that audience, it would be a big investment. We want to make sure, of
Mhm.
course, ahead of time we're uh, finding a large enough market, but also once we've started this business, I think finding that product market fit is going to require a little bit of finessing. So I was just
Hmm.
curious. I know that's completely different from a digital product, so I'm sorry to go off on that
Oh
tangent.
yeah, no, you're good.
But
Yeah, very different. And yeah, real estate is a whole other component too, and finding land. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lot.
but so starting a digital product though, it allows you a lot of flexibility, right? And
Oh
and
yeah, for sure.
developing an MVP and then launching it to get real
Hmm.
life feedback from those you're trying
Exactly.
to market to. So
Hmm.
post launch, are there methods in which you can use to better position your product so it allows you to either solve a problem better or reach a larger audience, perhaps?
Yeah, so it really comes down to getting feedback from the people that actually buy that product, or if you
Mhm.
give them maybe a discount or you give it to them for free to sample it. So collect that feedback from them directly because they will tell you exactly what you need to change about that product to provide more value. So that's one thing is updating the actual product. And then the second thing would be updating the messaging that you're using to sell that product if you want to make more sales. And so when it comes to that, again, you're going to get that feedback from your potential customers as well because they're going to say, "Oh yeah, it was when you said this that made me buy your product." Or, I kind of wish you had told me that this was in your product, but you didn't tell me that in the first place. And if you
Mm,
had, I would have been even more likely to buy it or more likely to buy it sooner than I did. So that's something else that you might want to pay attention to.
thank you.
You're welcome.
We got lots more questions. All right, Parul
Okay.
asked, in your experience, how long before how long before you would get your first sale and how much time would you give it?
So you want to pre-launch, meaning like talk about your product leading up to when you're actually going to launch it to whatever your audience is. So if you have an email list, send a couple of emails maybe over a few weeks, letting them know something is coming. If you're doing it on social media, tease it on your Instagram stories, for example. So you should not ever just, hello, I got a product, like don't ever do that. Let them know, just one random day. They should always know that something is coming. And then once you launch that day, there's a couple of ways that you can increase urgency. So first of all, do like a very short launch. So maybe say like from Friday to Sunday, that's your launch, and they're only able to get it at a special price during that weekend sale. That's a really good idea to do. Or another option is to offer bonuses, maybe time sensitive bonuses. So if you buy it this weekend, you can also get this other thing for free that I'm throwing in. Maybe it's a free one-on-one coaching session. Well, I wouldn't do that, maybe a couple of those, but obviously this is to save your time, free up time. So you don't want to do too many things like that. But maybe what type of digital product are you thinking about creating? That'll help me come up with some other
I don't know.
ideas.
You're inspiring so many things. So I have a brainstorm list. Sorry, I'm not on video right now. I have a
That's
brainstorm
okay.
list. But I think the biggest part is like if you're not, I'm not public on social media, a very
Hmm.
private person in that manner. So
Hmm.
when you think about all the tips and stuff you've given, that requires you now going public, and it's not
Hmm.
day one, like when you have the product. I'm
Yeah.
guessing what you're saying is building up to it if you're going to do something like that, or use some of the other platforms. But if you use the platforms you put on the slides, you're still advertising for those through social media for people to go in and buy through those platforms. You're not just relying on the platforms to sell. Is that
Yeah, the
correct?
platform's not going to sell for you unless you're doing something like Etsy, where, they have their own audience that's already on Etsy that might be searching for your product. So it depends on what you're selling. So
Okay.
if you go to Etsy and you're like, website templates, Canva templates, yours might come up, but also like 100,000 other ones are also coming up too.
Right.
So that's one reason why I don't like Etsy, because if you're competing with a lot of other people, which is one of the many
Yeah.
reasons.
Now I was
They
thinking more
keep a big
service based.
they keep a
So,
Mhm.
big portion of your sales too, right?
They
Etsy.
do take a portion of your sales, so I try to be independent as much as possible. But like you said, if you don't want to use social media, again, I would check out podcasts potentially in your niche and try to reach out to those podcast hosts and say, hey, like I'm interested in these topics. Here's what value I can provide. Make sure you tell them exactly what you can teach their audience and get on a few podcasts.
Research. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question is Madison. What are some tips, advice, or things to know when publishing, registering, or first launching your business? And for an example, how to handle third-party reach outs that are trying to sell you something, recommendations for setting up financial accounts. I had a question about those financial accounts too. Like you have to
Okay.
have a back end money mover, right?
So, okay, there were a few questions in that, I think. So
Mhm.
let me know if I missed something. When it comes to financial accounts for a business bank account, you can look up because everybody's needs are differently. So just search business checking account, for example. And there will be a bunch of options. I personally use Bluevine for mine. It's been super easy. It's a high interest, high yield account. So they give you more money than typical checking accounts. So that's why I put it there. And then you can also create a PayPal business account so that people can pay you via PayPal and it'll go into your PayPal business account and then it can transfer into your business checking account. So there's that. I think that answered that question, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then there was registering and all of that. The easiest way to go to through that is to go to your state's Secretary of State website. That's where you'll file your LLC. You'll also file, I think it was there, it might be somewhere else, where you do your EIN number. So that's like a number that you need in order to open a business checking account. But again, not a financial professional, legal professional at all. So those are questions that you might want to ask an accountant or an attorney potentially.
But there's another question about like any kind of insurance, additional insurance that you have to protect yourself.
Yeah, good question. So, depending on your industry, I mean, of course, anyone could get insurance for sure, but some are more, it's more important to have insurance than others. So, if you're health and wellness and you're making health claims, I would 100% get business insurance. And let's see, some of the others aren't super, I wouldn't say important, where you absolutely need it,
Risk
but
is
something like,
lower. The risk is
yeah,
lower.
exactly. Exactly, yeah. But your risk with health claims is much higher. So if it's something like that, I would definitely do business insurance.
Awesome. And then we'll end with another great question by Thomas on, um, you know, this, if you follow your steps and do the research and create a visually stimulating, document, sell it on the right places, market it on the right platforms, what do you see? What's the most common mistake you see people making on developing their product?
Yeah, when it comes to developing the product, not getting it out there, and we talked about the MVP, so the minimal viable product for anyone that is not familiar. So just get it out there and get feedback, and then you can obviously make modifications to that product later on. So that's usually the first thing is like people just wait and wait and wait to launch because they think it needs to be perfect. Just get it out there. After that, it's the consistency. People will launch and then they're like, oh, I didn't make, what I thought I was going to make, or for whatever reason, they just slow down or stop promoting that product. And in order to continue to get sales, you have to continue to get traffic to your offers. And so you have to continuously talk about it. And so that's the other problem I see people make is they just stop talking about it or don't talk about it enough. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't mean you have to be on Instagram every single day because I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. So you have to find other ways. And the best ways it's evergreen. So YouTube, when evergreen is more of like things that can be found, for years to come. So that's Google. If you have a blog, you're using SEO for that. YouTube and podcasting. Those are like the top three. And so that's why I always recommend people do. If you don't want to create your own YouTube channel, you don't want to create your own podcast, get on someone else's. If you don't want to create your own blog, guest blog post on other people's.
That's blog post. It sounds easier said than done. But I mean, I personally am walking away with lots of ideas and lots of things stimulating in my brain. And so
Yeah.
Jazmune has refined access to her, so it is scalable from her end. And so I will make sure everyone, if you want to drop that link now in the
Oh
chat,
yeah.
Jasmine, so people can get that access to your course and that offer. Super helpful. She's got a great website, First Hustle and then brunch.com. Is first spelled out, right? FIRST.
Yeah, I'll drop both of them here. Okay, let me stop this.
Awesome. Great. I'll give everybody a second to grab those links before we say goodbye, but I'll end with immense. I mean, I'm so proud of you. Number one, we go
Oh,
back a
thanks.
long way. I'm super proud, um, you know, of all the really interesting and helpful things that you're doing. And then just so very grateful that you invested an hour of your time just doing this webinar, not, not even thinking about the time it took to prep for the session. But on behalf of Wake Forest and the School of Business, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to help and be back. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. It's great to
Thanks
see
everyone
you
for coming.
smile. And I hope to see you. I hope to see you very soon. And I hope to see everyone
Yes.
else at some of our other virtual programs that we'll be offering. Awesome. Have a great day, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jazz.
Bye.